There's a story which will run in tomorrow's Guardian about a man called Conroy Downey, who's part of the Windrush generation and part of the Windrush scandal. And he is not only part of that generation, he's also served in the British Army, and he's been homeless. And he has explained that he's been homeless partly because his paperwork is non-existent. And he's asked for compensation. He's asked for more compensation because of the homelessness. And he's been stalled and stalled and stalled by the Home Office. He says the Home Office just isn't interested or isn't capable of running a compensation scheme. It should be taken from the Home Office and given to an independent body. The Home Office has been criticised by many people for the delays in paying out the compensation which has been agreed. People talk about the indignation that they have experienced, the frustrations. Kirkland Johnson, the maths teacher who came to the UK from Jamaica when he was 9 in 1964, qualified teacher and taught in schools in Leicester and Northampton, and still stuck because because the paperwork hasn't been processed. And this is the problem with the Home Office all the way through. They can't process the asylum applications. They can't process passports. They can't process the Windrush thing. It seems too much for the Home Office to do. They're so busy inventing new jobs for themselves, and the Home Secretary is so busy inventing new jobs to give to the Home Office, and yet it can't do the jobs which it's undertaken to do. It can't do the jobs which are in its original remit. So why give it more work? And the other day I was I was questioned by some of the people leaving comments who said, "Oh, are you slamming the civil servants in the Home Office? Who are you attacking in the Home Office?" I'm attacking the Home Office system, and I'm not the only one. But it's not just the Home Office. It's the entire corpus of compensation. It's that entire process of the government recognizing that things have gone seriously wrong under its control, and then ducking responsibility and failing to do more than just simply pay lip service to the idea of compensation. It's there in the post office. It's there in the NHS whistleblower issues. I was speaking today to a whistleblower who was in such distress because once more he's caught up in a legal wrangle, and it's very difficult to see how he moves forward. And I'm simply appalled. This conniving, this old boy handshake thing. You don't know who to trust, because the systems which are there to trust are part of the system. And the system is so demonstrably untrustworthy. And I don't know what the way through this is, except by blowing a whistle myself and saying, a plague on all your houses, because whoever the government delegates to sort this out will be another crony. And so glad-handing and waiting for an honour in the New Year's honours. Or at any particular time that Rishi Sunak fancies he's going to get his gongs out. There's something deeply corrupt that has invaded our society. And the fellow today with the Windrush scandal, which will be in tomorrow's Guardian, is saying he thinks they're just waiting for the generation to die, so they don't have to pay out any compensation at all. Also, it's all left to the next government, the Labour government, to deal with all this mess. There has to come a point where the government recognises that there is an honourable course of action, and at the moment it's dishonourable. Windrush, Grenfell, the haemophilia people, the whistleblowers in the NHS, and the post office. It's one thing after another. And when the government recognises that it has accepted responsibility, the process of paying out, the process of doing the work. Same thing, incidentally, with Asylum. And there, it's made all these people who have a right to asylum here, who we should be welcoming here, it's made them all into bogeymen with this ridiculous legislation by stopping legal and safe routes, and by stopping people using what few legal and safe routes there are, let's say from Afghanistan. It's very difficult to use those routes, by the way. And we are not shouldering our share of responsibility for people who are in need. If we are in need, where do we go? There's a really good speech, the only speech in Shakespeare's handwriting, from a play called Thomas More. And in that speech, Thomas More asks, people are rioting about foreigners. And he says, if the king commutes your execution for rioting to deportation, and you go to France, and they say to you, why are you presenting yourself to us? And you say, well, because I've been thrown out of the UK, because I've been rioting. Why were you rioting? Because I don't like foreigners. Do you think they're going to welcome you? And in the end, that has to be a question we ask. We should be treating others as we wish to be treated ourselves if we were in this unfortunate position. And yes, I think there might well be a distinction to be made between legitimate refugees, legitimate asylum seekers, and fakes. But we can't know who is who until we start processing the applications. And if the Home Office is on a go slow because it's so indolent, how are these numbers going to be reduced? How are we going to process that information? Who else can do it? The Home Office has some sort of monopoly. While it doesn't do anything, we are paying £6 to £8.5 million a day to bankroll the Home Office's indolence. It comes down as simply to that. And the government has got the propaganda machine working so well that the GB News lot recognise the same issue as I'm recognising and then blame the immigrants. Some of those immigrants, many of those immigrants have been helping us. We're helping our British soldiers in Afghanistan. And we're treating them shamefully. We're treating the Windrush generation shamefully. We're treating the haemophilia people shamefully. And we're treating people who righteously and correctly call out wrong and expect to see the system improve. We're treating those people we're pillaring. We're ensuring they lose their job, they lose their hope, they lose their mind because of the labyrinthine systems that the government and the authorities can call upon, because of the system of handshakes and compromat that dominate our current society. We might as well be in Russia. And Russia was the one that invented the compromat concept. But we are using it so well. I don't understand how people who have led significant companies in our country and left under a cloud can then pop up leading another company. I don't understand how this system works, except by glad handing and by a nod and a wink. And I don't think that's the way we should be conducting ourselves in the 21st century if we want to be taken seriously. We do, and we shouldn't. There we are. So, whistleblowers. Can I suggest, if somebody wishes to blow a whistle, if somebody is particularly concerned about the rise of, let's not call it corruption, let's call it distraction and blockade in our society, the doors which are closed in people's faces who want to do good, do make contact. Do leave comments here in the comment section. Because I think the numbers of people who are frustrated in their efforts to do what's right is growing.